I've just got back from a run, hence the sweat and the no makeup and the sports bra. It is 6:35 a.m. because I'm in LA and I'm jet lagged. And when I wake up early when I'm jet lagged, I go for a run. Also, I'm staying at my friends and they like live on the beach. And so, it is like 6:30 a.m. and I am so jet lagged. And so I'm going for a run along the beach. It's so beautiful. But the reason I wanted to make a video in my like exercise gear was because I recently finished reading this book by Anna Kessel called Eat, Sweat, Play. I don't have it on me because I'm traveling, but it looks like this. The subtitle of it is How Sport Can Change Our Lives, and oh boy, I think this book may have changed my life. If you want to see a more articulate video on the book, my friend Rosianna also recently read it and talked about it, and we share a lot of the same feelings about sport. I realised that even though occasionally on social media I will post stuff about going for a run or going to an exercise class or wanting to start dance lessons, which is one of my New Year's resolutions, which I haven't done yet, and it's June, Hannah, but despite occasionally posting workout selfies, I've never really talked to you guys about my relationship with sport. One of the things that I really took away from the book was how we talk about sport and exercise and women. There is so much out there on blogs and websites and books and magazines about women and exercise, women and fitness, women and health, kind of being active, to kind of strive to an end goal that's either like losing weight or getting fitter, all of these things, but the word sport like has just been taken out of that equation. The book really inspired me to get back into sport, and yes, get back into, because I used to be so into sport and it's nothing that I've spoken about on my channel before really. So I kind of wanted just to put myself out there and show you guys a woman who enjoys doing sport, a woman who enjoys watching sport, and my personal kind of experience with sport. This is going to sound so weird, but when I was 7 years old, I was the queen of football at my school. I kid you not. It was when we would play with like one of those soft, squishy balls, and I would always be team captain, and all of the boys would want me to pick them for their team. At least this is how I remember it. I mean, however good a 7-year-old can be at football, I was really good. But basically what happened was, as soon as we got into juniors, so as soon as we got into year 3, we started playing with a hard ball, and I got scared. I just got scared of hurting myself, and I stopped playing. And I'm like, just to this day, I'm so mad at myself. I'm like, I think about this more than you would know. I was scared of a hard football flying at my face and hurting me. Oh, I'm so mad. I'm so mad at myself. I genuinely have like no idea how good I would be at football now if I'd have carried on playing. It bums me out a bit. Maybe I would have been terrible. Maybe I would never have gotten better. Maybe like whether I'd carried on or not, 7-year-old me was like my peak at my football skills. But speaking of football, I'm also a big football fan. I have been born and raised a Manchester City fan. My dad used to like pick me up over the turnstiles to go watch games. I saw my first ever streaker at a Manchester City game when I was about 7 or 8. My parents still have season tickets, but since I moved out and went to uni, I'm really bad at following it. But anytime I go back home to Manchester, I'm always like, hey mum, dad, how's City doing? There was like a cup final. See, I don't even know. There was a cup final or something, and it was Manchester City versus another team. I can't remember. Something happens when you're a football fan that you just immediately sink back into it. And like that game, it ended up going to penalties, and it felt like life or death. Like, your heart is racing, like everything, your whole happiness like rides on this moment. And we won. And then it's the Euros at the moment, so even though I'm not a big fan of nationalism, I'll always support England. But I love the Euros. I love doing sweepstakes. The street where my parents live in Manchester, we always do a sweepstake with all of the different families that live on the street. And it's just a great way to get into it and not have to support England. Am I right? This year I've got Northern Ireland. So, I mean, great. Another thing in the book that seriously shocked me was about women's football. Women were banned from playing football between 1921 and 1971. There's a whole 50 years that women weren't allowed to play professional football. And people say now, like, oh, like, there's not as much money in women's football, the female players, like, aren't as good, and all of this, and it's like, it's because we missed out on 50 years of investment. 50 years of being banned, like, literally banned to play, is obviously going to put women's football behind men's. Eat, Sweat, Play definitely inspired me to check out my, like, local women's football teams, and so as soon as I put down the book, I did some Googling. Turns out Manchester City's women's team, top of the league. Yes, my ladies. This is something that Anna Kessel talks about in the book, and Rosianna also mentioned in her video, and it's how women sometimes feel like they have to blend in when they're watching sport. And oh my god, this resonated with me so much, because whenever I'm at a City game, I genuinely have no idea how to celebrate. There's this thing where their voices are deeper than you, and when City score, everyone's like, yeah! But that's not how I celebrate. So, but I always like go into that, and it feels so uncomfortable and unnatural to me. But also, I don't want to be like, ah! Like screaming at the highest pitch, like just going absolutely insane, because then I'll feel like I stand out, and I don't want to like put my femininity in people's faces. Like, there's just something about being a female sports fan in a male-dominated environment and trying to hide your femininity. That's something that I've definitely felt, and it was in the book, and I felt so validated by that, of like, yeah, I do that, and I shouldn't be doing that. I should be allowed just to like scream and go crazy and like do whatever my body like naturally feels like it wants to do when it's celebrating. Okay, so I gave up football. Ugh, idiot Hannah. Anyways, I was on my primary school's tag rugby team, which is basically rugby but non-contact, because you have these little tags flying around. It was like a mixed team. It had to be mixed gender. There were 7 on the team, and you had to have at least 3 girls playing at any time. So that was really great, because playing with boys, there was never a, oh, the boys are better than the girls. Like, we all had our like different skills that together like worked, and we were the best team in Greater Manchester when I was like 10, 11 years old. I'm like still so proud of this. I got like medals and trophies. And then we get into secondary school, where boys and girls are split up for PE, and you even do different sports. I was on the netball team, on and off. I also did dance classes, and when I was 13, that's when I started doing capoeira, but that was outside of school. Capoeira, which is the Brazilian martial art, was the main sport that I did between the age of 13 and 19. I loved that. I would definitely count like martial arts and stuff as a sport as well. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot. I love tennis. I played tennis. I had tennis lessons between the age of 7 and 18 when I like left home. Between the age of about 7 and 16, me and my friends did not take it seriously, and our tennis coach just hated us, because we would like turn up to our classes in like flared jeans. I guess at that age where we were quite self-conscious of the way we looked, and we needed to look cool at all times. But then, thank God, the last 2 years that we played tennis, we genuinely took it really seriously, and like got tennis shoes and proper sports gear, and would play a lot. And even like when we weren't having lessons, we would just meet up and play games together. Wimbledon is happening any minute now. I've never actually been to Wimbledon, and I'm away for it this year, but like one year, please hold me to it. I want to go to Wimbledon so bad. I didn't take my racket with me to uni, so I never played at uni, but sometimes when I was home over the summer, me and my friends would meet up and play a few sets, which was really nice. But I haven't played in ages. Yeah, I don't really know what the point of any of this is, but whilst reading that book, I was reflecting on all of this and thinking about my own relationship with sport, and how I used to be so sporty. Like, Sporty Spice was my favourite Spice Girl. And how now my relationship with sport, my relationship with exercise is, I go running to keep fit. I do yoga to keep fit. As much as I love running, like, there's nothing that I do anymore like with other people, not necessarily to keep fit, but just for a laugh, to be active, just to get outside and just have fun. And we live in such a image conscious world where we're constantly body shaming ourselves and body shaming other people and thinking, if I just do this and I look this way, then I'll be happier. It is scientifically proven that if you exercise or do a sport or you're just active, then irrelevant if you lose any weight or look any different, you will feel better about yourself and you will feel happier. I've put on, for me, a noticeable amount of weight since moving to London, and the jogging and stuff has not helped me lose any of it, but it's helped me like maintain, and it's also just changed my whole way of thinking about the weight that I put on, because I didn't like it for ages, and I'm someone that preaches body positivity, and I felt like an absolute hypocrite because I hated my new body, and the body was my own fault. It's like a combination of bad diet, bad exercise, that I put this weight on, but something that people don't tell you is that you just put weight on in your 20s anyway. So I've had to like come to accept that now this is like my normal weight, but being active and being fit has made me like not care. That book, I'm just feeling so pumped right now. When I feel so inspired by a book to change the way that I'm living or change the way that I'm thinking, rather than it being like this big goal of like, do more sport, Hannah, that's not really manageable. So I've kind of picked 3 things that I'm going to do. The first one is stick to my New Year's resolution and start dance classes. I've found some contemporary dance classes and some other ones, but I think contemporary is the one that I want to do. When I'm back from LA, I'm going to start those, and you guys are going to hold me to it. And then the second one is play tennis. Like, I need to get my fix. I've got this craving for it. I just need to play tennis. And then the third one is go and see some women's football matches. It's one of those things. Put your money where your mouth is. I'm going to buy some women's football tickets. I might not be able to make it to any Manchester City games because I'm from there. I'm like, they're my team, Manchester City. But maybe I'll find a team in London that I really like and that I can go see more regularly. Also, it's not the season. I'm assuming that the women's football season is the same as the men's, so it'll start again in August. But yeah, those are my 3 sport resolutions. This is the first time in ages I've done a non-scripted vlog, so who knows what I'll edit this into. I hope you liked it. I would love if you checked out this book, or let me know your thoughts on it if you've already read it. It's only just come out really recently, so you may not have read it yet, but oh my god, highly recommend. I would love if in the comments you also maybe left 3, if you can't think of 3, then just 1 sport resolution of something that you want to do differently in the way that you play sport or watch sport. I was literally about to say, sorry, I don't have any makeup on, hope you liked it anyway. What the hell, Hannah? You're welcome. This is my face. Isn't it great? Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe because I make new videos every week, and I'll see you soon. Bye!